20 actors who stood up to woke Hollywood. Are you ready to dive into the shocking truth behind Hollywood's woke wars? Get ready to have your mind blown as we unveil the untold stories of 20 actors who dared to stand up against the woke establishment. From bold statements that shook the industry to actions that sparked nationwide debates, these stars didn't just break the mold, they shattered it. Join us as we explore the dramatic tales of courage, controversy, and the fight for authenticity in a world where speaking your mind can make or break a career. Don't miss out on this eye-opening journey into the heart of woke Hollywood. Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's experience navigating the challenging environment of woke Hollywood has been quite dramatic. The actor, recognized for his roles in major film franchises, became the subject of controversy when he wore a "Don't Tread on Me" t-shirt which some have controversially associated with white supremacy. This led to a backlash, with detractors questioning his political leanings. The controversy escalated when Pratt shared a humorous meme about voting while promoting his movie, which many found to be in poor taste. His non-attendance at a Joe Biden fundraiser, which was attended by other Marvel actors, resulted in him being labeled the worst Chris, further exacerbating the online backlash. Despite the criticism, Pratt chose not to engage and did not directly address the allegations. However, he received support from co-stars such as Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo, who defended him against the online attacks. Downey stated, "What a world. The sinless are casting stones at my brother Chris Pratt," highlighting Pratt's character and integrity. Pratt's determination was evident as he continued to appear in significant films, showing that even silence on political matters can lead to criticism in Hollywood. He was targeted for perceived conservative views without ever explicitly stating them. The pressure to adhere to progressive standards was evident, yet he remained steadfast amidst online harassment, including drones monitoring his home. In an industry that is quick to judge, Pratt's story highlights the intricacies of balancing personal beliefs and public perception in contemporary Hollywood. Gina Carano. Gina Carano's trajectory from an ascending star to a contentious figure illustrates a significant conflict with woke Hollywood. The actress, recognized for her part in The Mandalorian, encountered immediate backlash following a social media post that likened the treatment of Republicans to that of Jews during the Holocaust. This post was labeled abhorrent and unacceptable by Lucasfilm, resulting in her termination and sparking a heated debate on free speech and political expression within the entertainment industry. In her legal action against Disney and Lucasfilm, Carano asserted that she was singled out for voicing her opinions while highlighting what she saw as Hollywood's hypocrisy. She noted that her co-star Pedro Pascal had not faced any consequences for making a similar comparison to the Holocaust, stating, "A short time ago in a galaxy not so far away, defendants made it clear that only one orthodoxy in thought would be tolerated." Post-dismissal, Carano claimed that Disney tried to erase her character and subjected her to a campaign of bullying for not adhering to progressive values. After moving due to harassment and stalking, she pledged to use her voice freely and encourage others to do the same. By collaborating with the Daily Wire for future endeavors, Carano aims to establish a precedent against dismissing actors based on their political beliefs. Backed by individuals such as Elon Musk, her case has reignited conversations about cancel culture and how dissenting voices are treated in Hollywood. As she navigates this challenging environment, Carano remains dedicated to championing political diversity within the industry. Bill Maher. Bill Maher has become a controversial figure against what he calls woke Hollywood, using his HBO show to critique the extreme political correctness that has become prevalent in liberal circles. His critiques have focused on cancel culture, identity politics, and the left's focus on race, often surprising his usual supporters with his assertive position. In a recent episode of Real Time with Bill Maher, he said, "Far-left liberals are living in an old paradigm. Americans don't fit into neat little boxes anymore." This statement reflects his view that identity politics have become outdated and unhelpful. He encouraged Democrats to move on from these divisive tactics, comparing them to Republicans' obsession with past issues. Despite being accused of catering to the right and being out of touch, Maher remained steadfast, arguing that it was the left that had changed, not him. He emphasized the chilling effect of cancel culture, stating that liberals need a stand-your-ground law for cancel culture, advocating for resistance against the mob mentality that often silences dissenting voices. Maher's readiness to challenge prevailing narratives within Hollywood shows that there is pushback against woke culture, even among well-known figures. By continuing his show despite criticism, he demonstrates a rare freedom to express dissenting views in an environment increasingly dominated by conformity. His journey reveals a changing political landscape within Hollywood, where even those on the left can find themselves at odds with their peers over the direction of social consciousness. Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey has become a prominent figure against what he calls the illiberal left in Hollywood, confronting the condescension and arrogance he sees in the industry. In a podcast with Russell Brand, he said, "There are a lot of people on that illiberal left that absolutely condescend, patronize, and are arrogant towards that other 50%. This statement ignited intense debate, receiving both admiration from those who felt heard and criticism from others who saw it as a threat to progressive values. His political journey has been highlighted by key moments, such as a heartfelt speech at the White House advocating for responsible gun ownership and the revival of family values following tragic events in his hometown of Uvalde, Texas. McConaughey stressed that we need to restore our American values while urging bipartisan action to tackle gun violence. Although he briefly considered running for governor of Texas, he ultimately decided against it, opting to continue his career and popularity while expressing his centrist views. His capacity to navigate this politically charged environment without facing significant backlash highlights his unique position as an established star willing to challenge prevailing narratives. By standing up to woke Hollywood, McConaughey has shown that political outspokenness does not necessarily lead to career decline. Instead, it can encourage meaningful dialogue across the political spectrum. Do you think celebrities should speak out on politics? Yes or no? Share your thoughts on whether Matthew McConaughey's outspokenness is refreshing or reckless. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's clash with woke Hollywood intensified with his Netflix special, The Closer, which sparked significant backlash, particularly from the LGBTQ+ community. Critics accused him of transphobia, leading to demands for Netflix to remove the special. However, Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos strongly defended Chappelle, highlighting the significance of artistic freedom and stating, "We have to protect art and freedom of speech." Despite the controversy, Chappelle remained steadfast in his right to joke about any topic. He notably said, "I'm done talking about it. All I ask of your community with all humility, will you please stop punching down on my people?" This statement emphasized his view that comedy should challenge societal norms instead of adhering to them. Chappelle's refusal to concede led to sold-out performances and collaborations with major platforms, showing that controversy can exist alongside success. Nevertheless, he faced substantial backlash from LGBTQ+ groups and even some Netflix employees who felt betrayed by the platform's support for him. In a poignant moment, he claimed he was now the only one barred from entering the Netflix office. Through his comedy, Chappelle has become a key figure in discussions about free speech and political correctness in comedy. His actions reflect not just personal values, but also a broader opposition against what he sees as an overly sensitive culture that suppresses honest conversation. In this context, Chappelle stands as a testament to the intricacies of satire and its influence on society. Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood has been a divisive figure in Hollywood, openly expressing conservative views that frequently conflict with the industry's liberal culture. His audacity was particularly evident during the 2012 Republican National Convention, where he addressed an empty chair representing President Obama. "We own this country," he stated, emphasizing that politicians are the public's employees. This unconventional speech, while mocked by some, demonstrated Eastwood's readiness to challenge the status quo and speak his mind, regardless of potential backlash from Hollywood peers and critics. His directorial work further illustrates his resistance to liberal narratives. The contentious film American Sniper, which earned over $105 million in its opening weekend, sparked intense debates about its depiction of war and heroism. Critics like Michael Moore and Seth Rogen criticized it for glorifying violence, yet Eastwood maintained that the film was fundamentally anti-war. Despite facing both ridicule and praise, he achieved significant box office success and multiple award nominations, showing how influential figures can shape narratives behind the scenes. Even in his 90s, Eastwood continues to direct films that reflect his worldview, indicating the potential for diverse perspectives within an industry often criticized for its political homogeneity. As he once said, "I may have irritated a lot of the lefties, but I was aiming for people in the middle," underscoring his dedication to representing varied viewpoints in storytelling. Ricky Gervais. Ricky Gervais, the comedian famous for his incisive humor, took a stand against woke Hollywood during his notorious Golden Globes monologue in 2020. As he hosted for the fifth time, he launched a wave of criticism at the celebrities who advocate progressive values, while overlooking the hypocrisy in their corporate connections. "You're in no position to lecture the public about anything," he stated, noting that most attendees had spent less time in school than climate activist Greta Thunberg. Gervais was unreserved, openly criticizing Apple for producing The Morning Show, a series focused on moral integrity, while also running sweatshops in China. "If ISIS started a streaming service, you'd call your agent," he joked, emphasizing the gap between Hollywood's moral pretensions and its financial links to unethical practices. His comments resonated with many who were disenchanted by celebrity activism that often appeared more performative than sincere. Despite facing backlash from peers and critics, some of whom branded him an anti-woke provocateur, Gervais garnered substantial support from viewers who valued his readiness to speak hard truths. His resistance against Hollywood's elite was not just a career risk, it was rooted in a firm belief in free speech and authenticity. "Make jokes, not war," he tweeted after the event, summarizing his intentions and reaffirming his dedication to humor over political correctness. Gervais's courage to challenge the status quo had a broad impact, sparking conversations about responsibility within the entertainment industry. Carlos Santana. Carlos Santana, the renowned guitarist recognized for his emotive music, recently caused controversy at a concert in Atlantic City, New Jersey. In an instance that many saw as a protest against what he termed woke Hollywood, Santana made comments implying that transgender people should stay in the closet. He said, "When God made you and me, you know who you are and what you are. Whatever you want to do in the closet, that's your business." This event sparked a wave of backlash from fans and the LGBTQ+ community, resulting in immediate criticism on social media. Many felt let down by Santana's remarks, considering them a divergence from the love and acceptance he typically promotes through his music. The backlash led him to issue an apology, where he expressed sorrow for the pain caused by his words, stressing his wish to respect diverse viewpoints. Driven by personal beliefs and possibly a wish to voice traditional views in a rapidly evolving cultural context, Santana's stance reflects a wider tension within Hollywood about progressive values. His position found resonance with some who hold similar views, but it estranged many others who anticipated greater sensitivity from public figures. Despite the repercussions, Santana's actions underscore the intricacies of celebrity in contemporary society. While some peers like Paul Stanley and Alice Cooper echoed comparable sentiments, they too faced backlash, demonstrating the delicate equilibrium between personal conviction and public expectation in an increasingly divided setting. Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper, known for his provocative persona in rock music, has sparked controversy with his recent comments on gender identity and the demands of modern culture. In an interview with Stereogum, the shock rock legend voiced his apprehensions about the increase in gender-affirming care for children, calling it a fad. He said, "I find it wrong when you've got a 6-year-old kid who has no idea. He just wants to play, and you're confusing him, telling him, yeah, you're a boy, but you could be a girl if you want to be." Cooper's remarks arrived during a period of backlash against celebrities who challenged the dominant progressive narratives in Hollywood. His doubts go beyond gender identity. He also mocked the concept of woke culture, stating, It's getting to the point now where it's laughable. I don't know one person that agrees with the woke thing. His motivations seem to stem from personal values and a wish for clarity in identity formation for children. However, this position has not been without repercussions. After his comments, Cooper faced substantial backlash, including losing a cosmetics deal with Vampire Cosmetics, which ended its association due to his statements. Despite the criticism, Cooper remains steadfast, reflecting the defiant spirit that has defined his career. His readiness to express unpopular views not only shows his dedication to his beliefs, but also underscores the ongoing cultural conflict within Hollywood. Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston has become a contentious figure in her defiance of the woke culture that is prevalent in Hollywood, challenging the narrative that often suppresses comedic expression. In a recent interview, she expressed concern about the current environment where humor is viewed through a politically correct lens, saying, "Now it's a little tricky because you have to be very careful. The beauty of comedy is that we make fun of ourselves, make fun of life." Aniston's remarks were made as she considered the backlash against her famous series, Friends, which younger audiences now find offensive. She recognized that many jokes from the show might not fit with today's sensitivities, but she defended comedy as a means of education and reflection on societal absurdities. This willingness to accept critique while maintaining her stance has garnered both support and criticism from peers and fans. The actress has also voiced her annoyance with cancel culture, stating she is so over it and arguing that not everyone should be grouped together as wrongdoers, especially considering high-profile cases like Harvey Weinstein's. Her position has ignited intense discussions within Hollywood, where many feel compelled to adhere to progressive ideals. While some praise her courage for expressing disagreement with an increasingly sensitive industry, others claim she is out of touch. Aniston's readiness to tackle these issues shows her dedication to personal values over public pressure, positioning her as a significant figure in the ongoing dialogue about comedy and cultural sensitivity in contemporary entertainment. Rate Jennifer Aniston's approach to addressing criticism of Friends on a scale of 0. 5. How well do you think she handled the backlash against her show? Comment with a number. Helena Bonham Carter. Helena Bonham Carter has become a vocal critic of what she views as the excesses of woke Hollywood, especially the trend of cancel culture. In a candid interview, she stated, "You can't ban people. I hate cancel culture. It has become quite hysterical and there's a kind of witch hunt and a lack of understanding." Her comments were in support of her friends Johnny Depp and J.K. Rowling, both of whom have faced significant scrutiny and backlash for their contentious positions. Bonham Carter's stance seems to be fundamentally based on her personal values. She advocates for the freedom to express opinions, particularly those shaped by personal experiences. She criticized the herd mentality often seen in social justice movements, arguing that it can result in unjust exclusion. "It's been taken to the extreme, the judgmentalism of people," she said, highlighting that everyone has their own story and viewpoint. The response to her comments was immediate. Many in Hollywood distanced themselves from her perspective, especially younger actors who have publicly criticized Rowling for her comments on gender identity. However, Bonham Carter remained steadfast, suggesting that envy and a desire to undermine successful individuals drive much of the cancel culture trend. By defending her friends and challenging the dominant narrative, Bonham Carter has not only put her career at risk, but also sparked a wider discussion about free speech and the implications of social accountability in today's entertainment industry. Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo, known for his role in Hercules: The Legendary Journeys, has become a prominent critic of what he calls woke Hollywood. In a candid opinion piece for Fox News, Sorbo stated, "It doesn't really matter what end of the masculinity spectrum you fall on. If you're a victim to your own base desires, the feminist culture has won." This statement reflects his view that Hollywood has moved away from portraying traditional masculinity, instead favoring narratives that weaken male characters. Sorbo's stance is driven by a strong belief in the values of masculinity and fatherhood. He contends that America needs warriors, protectors, responsible and committed fathers rather than the passive male figures often shown in modern cinema. He criticized the depiction of fathers as inept buffoons in contemporary films, implying that this trend detracts from positive male representation. The response was immediate. Critics called him out of touch, with some ridiculing his relevance in an industry that has largely progressed beyond his peak. However, Sorbo received support from conservative audiences who agree with his call for a return to traditional values. He has not avoided controversy, even engaging in public disputes with former co-stars like Lucy Lawless over political disagreements. In an industry increasingly influenced by progressive narratives, Sorbo's position symbolizes resistance against what he sees as an intolerant industry. His journey mirrors the conflicts between personal beliefs and professional realities in today's Hollywood. Kanye West. Kanye West's experience navigating the challenging environment of woke Hollywood has been characterized by audacious statements and contentious actions. In October 2022, during a Paris fashion show, he wore a shirt that read "White Lives Matter," sparking intense backlash from the media and other celebrities. His comment, "Everyone knows that Black Lives Matter was a scam, now it's over, you're welcome," reflected his resistance to what he views as the insincerity of progressive movements. West's motivations seem to be based on a pursuit of authenticity and a rejection of societal standards. He has frequently presented his challenges as acts of independent thought, claiming that he will not be muted by the dominant liberal narrative. In a 2020 interview, he said, "I'm distancing myself from politics and completely focusing on being creative," indicating a conflict between his artistic identity and external pressures. The repercussions of his actions have been significant. Major brands cut their relationships with him, and he received widespread criticism from peers such as John Legend, who encouraged him to think about the effects of his words on his audience. However, he also received unexpected support from individuals like Chance the Rapper, who stressed loyalty during controversy. West's position has made him a divisive figure. While some admire his courage in defying the status quo, others regret the potentially harmful consequences of his rhetoric. In conclusion, Kanye West's resistance to woke Hollywood stands as a striking example of the intricacies of celebrity activism in today's politically charged atmosphere. John Cleese. John Cleese, the renowned comedian and Monty Python co-creator, has become a vocal critic of what he calls woke Hollywood, taking issue with the growing standards of political correctness and cancel culture. At 80, Cleese has not avoided controversy, claiming that the current atmosphere suppresses creativity and humor. "I don't think we should organize a society around the sensibilities of the most easily upset people," he said, highlighting that humor is vital for societal health. His candid position was evident when he was criticized for defending a Fawlty Towers episode that was briefly taken off streaming platforms due to its use of outdated language. Cleese contended that the character using such language was intended to be mocked, not supported. "If you put nonsense words into the mouth of someone you want to make fun of, you're making fun of them," he clarified, emphasizing the importance of context in comedy. Cleese's motivations seem to stem from a strong dedication to free speech and artistic integrity. He thinks that creativity can only thrive in an environment not burdened by excessive scrutiny. In a recent documentary named Cancel Me, he examined how the woke movement aims to redefine societal rules on free speech, positioning himself as a protector against what he views as a repressive cultural change. Despite his beliefs, Cleese has encountered considerable backlash from both peers and critics, often being labeled as xenophobic or transphobic for his opinions. However, he remains steadfast, advocating for a return to humor's origins, where laughter acts as a unifying force rather than a tool for division. As he confronts these issues head-on, Cleese continues to spark discussions about the equilibrium between sensitivity and creativity in contemporary comedy. Enjoying this video? Like and subscribe for more. Not feeling it? A like would still be appreciated, and your comments will help me do better next time. Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has become a vocal critic of the politically progressive narratives prevalent in the entertainment industry, often taking a stand against what she sees as woke Hollywood. Her resistance was particularly evident in September 2021, when she was criticized for questioning COVID-19 vaccine mandates. Minaj tweeted, "I'm not vaccinated. I'm not going to be bullied into being vaccinated," and voiced her worries about vaccine side effects, leading to widespread criticism from media figures and political leaders. Minaj's stance is driven by a strong conviction in personal autonomy and skepticism of mainstream narratives. This was clear when she stated, "I'm not going to be bullied," demonstrating her unwillingness to yield to societal pressures that prioritize compliance over individual choice. The backlash was immediate. Some called her irresponsible, while others commended her for opposing perceived coercion. This was not a one-off event. In 2019, she cancelled a concert in Saudi Arabia, citing her dedication to women's rights and LGBTQ+ freedoms. Her choice elicited both criticism and support, with detractors claiming she was inconsistent in her activism, while supporters like Rose McGowan backed her, saying, "Both of us know the powerful elite." Through these actions, Minaj has established herself as a controversial figure, not afraid to challenge the dominant narratives of Hollywood, reflecting the intricacies of celebrity activism in an age where authenticity often conflicts with expectation. Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan has become a prominent critic of what he calls woke Hollywood, openly challenging the increasingly progressive narratives that dominate the entertainment industry. His journey took a significant turn after his contentious exit from Good Morning Britain, where he declined to apologize for his remarks about Meghan Markle, stating, "I don't believe a word she says." This resistance to cancel culture not only resulted in his dismissal, but also sparked a heated discussion about free speech and responsibility in the media. Morgan's stance is driven by a strong conviction in personal expression and an aversion to what he views as the suppression of dissenting voices. He has consistently contended that woke ideologies have turned into a type of censorship, quieting those who dare to voice unpopular opinions. According to him, this trend endangers the very essence of public discourse, leading to a uniform cultural landscape lacking genuine debate. The backlash against Morgan has been severe. He has encountered social media backlash and criticism from peers who brand him as intolerant. However, he has also received considerable support from those who share his worries about political correctness. His position appeals to many who feel sidelined by the prevailing narratives in Hollywood. As Morgan himself said, "When woke effectively becomes a form of fascism designed to banish people from the public lexicon, then it becomes untenable." This bold statement summarizes his ongoing fight against what he perceives as an oppressive cultural trend, establishing him as a controversial yet significant figure in the conversation about free speech and artistic expression in contemporary society. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, the legendary actor recognized for his influential voice and imposing presence, has openly opposed what he views as the extremes of woke Hollywood. His most recent confrontation arose during a frank interview about his upcoming project, The Grey House, where he strongly criticized Black History Month, stating, "I can't stand the thought of it. The very notion makes my teeth itch. It's not right." Freeman argues that confining Black history to a single month reduces its importance, asserting, "My history is American history." Freeman's stance is driven by a profound conviction in the integration of all histories into the American narrative. He sees the separation of Black history as an insult to the collective experiences that shape the nation. This viewpoint has not only set him against progressive movements, but has also garnered both criticism and support. Critics have called him out of touch, while supporters praise his bravery in speaking out against what they view as performative activism. The backlash grew when he questioned the term African American, calling it an insult and suggesting it oversimplifies a complex identity. Despite potential risks to his career, Freeman remains unapologetic, emphasizing that genuine progress lies in stopping the categorization of individuals by race. His position has ignited discussions about race and identity in Hollywood, demonstrating his courage in challenging prevailing narratives. As he stated, "If you don't know your history, if you don't remember it, you're bound to repeat it," reminding us that comprehending our past is vital for a unified future. Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent, the vocal rock musician, has emerged as a significant critic of what he calls woke Hollywood. His resistance is rooted in a strong belief in personal liberties and traditional American values, which he perceives as being threatened by progressive ideologies. Nugent's critiques have often been inflammatory. He has referred to the progressive movement as lunacy and claimed it promotes a culture of victimhood that erodes personal accountability. In a recent interview, Nugent said, "The rise of woke culture represents an assault on individual freedoms," expressing his belief that such movements endanger the core of American society. His remarks have led to considerable backlash, resulting in protests and concert cancellations, especially from Native American groups upset by his comments. Despite this, he remains steadfast, seeing his position as an essential confrontation to a culture he thinks is becoming increasingly intolerant of opposing views. Nugent's aggressive approach has divided public opinion. While he receives support from conservative circles who admire his courage, many in the entertainment industry have distanced themselves from him due to concerns about backlash. Industry insiders caution that his contentious statements could endanger his career, suggesting that venues might be reluctant to book him for fear of public outrage. In conclusion, Nugent's fight against woke Hollywood illustrates a wider cultural conflict in America, where freedom of speech is set against the growing wave of social awareness. His experience underscores the intricacies and repercussions faced by those who challenge prevailing narratives in an increasingly divided society. Candace Owens. Candace Owens, a divisive figure in contemporary conservatism, has openly challenged what she labels woke Hollywood, taking issue with the entertainment industry's progressive narratives. Her resistance was particularly evident during various public appearances and on her podcast, where she criticized the hypocrisy of Hollywood elites who advocate tolerance yet show intolerance towards opposing viewpoints. In a notable episode of her show, Owens said, "You've got to love Hollywood. They proclaim to be so accepting and loving, yet they are quick to judge." This comment reflects her motivation, a strong dedication to free speech and an aversion to what she sees as cultural censorship. Her critiques often center on figures like Brittany Mahomes, whom she defended after Mahomes faced backlash for liking a Trump post. Owens advocated for Mahomes' right to express her political preferences, stating, "People should be allowed to like posts, especially during an election." Owens' position has not been without repercussions. She has encountered considerable backlash from peers and the public, often being labeled as divisive or extremist. However, she has also received support from conservative circles that commend her bravery in speaking out against the prevailing liberal orthodoxy in Hollywood. Her journey mirrors the wider cultural conflict in America today, one where opposing woke ideologies can result in both intense criticism and passionate support. In an age where many fear repercussions for their beliefs, Owens stands as a courageous voice for those who feel sidelined by the dominant narrative. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, once a beacon of unity and positivity, has recently taken a firm stance against what he views as the divisive elements of woke culture in Hollywood. In a candid interview on Fox and Friends, Johnson discussed his previous support for President Biden, confessing, "What that caused was something that tears me up in my guts, which is division." This admission signifies a considerable change for the actor who had been politically involved during the 2020 election. Johnson's motivations are rooted in a strong belief in authenticity and transparency. He expressed his discontent with cancel culture, saying, "You either succumb to that and be what other people want you to be, or you be yourself and be real." This viewpoint resonates with many who feel constrained by the demands of political correctness. However, his position has not been without repercussions. Backlash from some fans and peers has been evident, with detractors accusing him of deserting his roots and siding with anti-woke sentiments. Despite the criticism, Johnson's statement reflects a personal evolution towards valuing unity over division. He conveyed a wish to keep his political views private in the future, stressing, "My goal is to bring this country together." As he navigates this intricate environment, Johnson's bravery in speaking out against prevailing narratives highlights the challenges faced by celebrities in today's politically charged atmosphere. The Rock's journey serves as a cautionary tale about the delicate balance between influence and accountability in Hollywood. In exploring the stories of these 20 actors who stood up to woke Hollywood, we've witnessed a clash of values and a struggle for authenticity. It's a narrative that teaches us about the courage to stand by one's beliefs even in the face of public scrutiny. It's also a reminder that with influence comes responsibility to oneself, to one's audience, and to the broader societal dialogue. So what's your take? Do you support or oppose woke culture? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Remember, every voice matters, and every opinion can spark meaningful conversation. And if you're interested in more deep dives into the intersection of celebrity, culture, and activism, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Iconic and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Let's keep the dialogue going. 25 stars that became homeless or went completely broke. You won't believe what happened to these 25 stars. From fame and fortune to homelessness and bankruptcy, their stories will shock you. Prepare to be stunned as we reveal how some of Hollywood's brightest fell from grace. Corey Haim. Corey Haim's rapid ascent to stardom was highlighted by his memorable performances in films such as Lucas, License to Drive, and The Lost Boys. As a teenage heartthrob, he was inundated with thousands of fan letters each week, enjoying the bright lights of Hollywood. However, his life was not as glamorous as it seemed. "I lived in LA in the 80s, which was not the best place to be," Haim admitted, recalling his early encounters with substance abuse that began with alcohol and progressed to harder drugs like cocaine and crack cocaine. By the end of the 1990s, Haim's addiction had severely impacted his life. His once thriving career began to fade as he encountered significant financial difficulties, culminating in him residing in a garage apartment with his mother. Despite making numerous attempts to overcome his addiction, he went to rehab at least 15 times. His problems continued. A particularly distressing moment was captured on film during a documentary, where he appeared confused and had to sell personal belongings just to get by. In a tragic turn of events, Haim passed away in 2010 from pneumonia, unable to cover the costs of his own funeral. His death served as a stark reminder of the transient nature of fame and the dangers of drug abuse. Corey Feldman lamented the loss of his friend, stating, "This is a tragic loss of a wonderful, beautiful, tormented soul," a fitting epitaph for Haim's tumultuous time in Hollywood. Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder was a prominent actress in Hollywood, recognized for her iconic role as Lois Lane in the Superman series and her haunting performance in the Amityville Horror. However, beneath her fame, Kidder's life took a distressing turn after a severe car accident in 1990 that left her partially paralyzed, unable to work, and facing financial ruin and despair. Reflecting on her life, Kidder said, "I was okay for long stretches of time, and then there were pieces of time where I definitely wasn't," highlighting her struggle with mental health issues and substance abuse. Her medical expenses skyrocketed to over $600,000, leading to bankruptcy. In 1996, she had a public breakdown that resulted in homelessness. She became an unrecognizable figure living on the streets, fighting personal demons that had plagued her since childhood. Kidder's challenges were further complicated by her bipolar disorder, which she initially refused to accept. She described her life as grand and wonderful, but marred by odd blips and burps of madness. Despite efforts to regain control of her life in Montana after years of turmoil, tragedy struck again when she died from an overdose in 2018, which was ruled a suicide. Leif Garrett. Leif Garrett was a prominent figure in the 1970s, enjoying teen idol status with his charming appearance and popular songs like "I Was Made for Dancing." However, as the 1980s progressed, his career began to decline, leading to less significant film roles and a more tumultuous personal life. Garrett was deeply affected by a car accident that left his friend paralyzed, which led him into a severe drug addiction. He confessed, "I was a monster," reflecting on the chaos that came with his fame. His troubles worsened in the 2000s with multiple arrests for drug possession, further damaging his reputation and finances. By his 50s, Garrett found himself nearly penniless, having spent his wealth on addiction and legal issues. He expressed regret, saying, "I didn't have the parental guidance I should have at that time." recognizing how poor choices contributed to his downfall. Despite these adversities, Garrett's story is a testament to the fleeting nature of fame and its emotional cost. Now sober and sharing his experiences through memoirs, he shows resilience. I have no problem starting from scratch with Lonnie Willison. Lonnie Willison was once a renowned fitness model featured on magazine covers and starred in the TV series Exposé, but her life took a drastic turn after her 2014 divorce from actor Jeremy Jackson. Their marriage was plagued by domestic violence, with Lonnie recounting being strangled and beaten, which left her emotionally devastated. "It took me over 2 months to recover properly," she reflected, revealing the deep emotional wounds from their tumultuous relationship. By 2016, Lonnie had lost her apartment and car, unable to support herself due to worsening mental health issues and addiction. "I lost 2 jobs. It's been 2 years. I've been on the streets since," she lamented, underscoring the bleakness of her situation. The once vibrant woman who captivated audiences became a shadow of her former self, seen foraging for food in Los Angeles, pushing a shopping cart filled with her few belongings. Her dramatic change serves as a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of fame and the profound effects of addiction. Friends tried to help, but Lonnie consistently refused assistance, trapped in her despair. "Nobody really cares about me," she stated bluntly, encapsulating the isolation that often accompanies such significant loss. Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes, a prominent figure in Hollywood known for his roles in films like Mo Better Blues and Jungle Fever, experienced a downfall after achieving mainstream success with movies such as White Men Can't Jump and the Blade series. Despite his fame, Snipes faced financial difficulties. He neglected to file tax returns from 1999 to 2001, resulting in millions of dollars in unpaid taxes. His legal issues peaked in 2008 with a conviction for 3 misdemeanor counts of tax evasion, which led to a 3-year prison term. Reflecting on his fall from grace, Snipes said, "I did not think it was possible," recognizing the emotional impact of his situation. The public witnessed the transformation of a beloved action star into a cautionary example of financial mismanagement and the severe repercussions of tax evasion. Even after trying to repay his debts and re-establish himself, Snipes found it challenging to regain his former status. Friends like Sylvester Stallone and Spike Lee offered him roles after his release from prison, but the stigma of his past persisted. Wesley Snipes was sentenced to 3 years in prison for tax evasion. Do you think the sentence was fair? Comment with yes or no. Erin Moran. Erin Moran, recognized for her role as Joni Cunningham on the popular sitcom Happy Days, achieved fame at a young age with her captivating charm and talent. However, transitioning from a child star to an adult actor was challenging for Moran, who struggled to find work after the show concluded in 1984. Her difficulties were further exacerbated by her part in the short-lived spin-off Joni Loves Chachi with Scott Baio. The show's cancellation after 1 season left her feeling forsaken by Hollywood. Nick Paros, a friend of Moran's, disclosed that she felt outcast and left in the dust by her former co-stars. As her career faltered, Moran resorted to alcohol and drugs, which Marion Ross, a former co-star, described as problematic. Her personal life also deteriorated when she lost her California home to foreclosure in 2010. She had to move in with her mother-in-law in an Indiana trailer park, a stark contrast to her previous Hollywood lifestyle. Moran's tragic decline was evident to her fans, who were appalled to see the once energetic actress grappling with homelessness and depression. Scott Baio, who played her love interest on Joni Loves Chachi, expressed his inability to assist her, stating, "You make your bed, you got to sleep in it. I don't know how to help people." Moran's story is a poignant reminder of the challenges faced by child actors transitioning into adult careers. Her life and death, while not directly linked to homelessness, highlight the emotional cost of fame and the necessity of support systems for those dealing with mental health issues. Moran's tragic decline and untimely death at 56 from stage 4 cancer serve as a stark reminder of life's fragility and the need for greater understanding and support for those in the entertainment industry. Gary Coleman. Gary Coleman, renowned for his role as Arnold Jackson on the popular TV show Different Strokes, experienced a tragic fall from grace that led to homelessness. Born on February 8, 1968, he won over audiences with his memorable catchphrase,
"What you talking about, Kimberly? What you talking about, Willis?"
However, his life was fraught with health problems and financial mismanagement. At the age of 2, Coleman was diagnosed with a congenital kidney disease, which required 2 kidney transplants and continuous dialysis treatments. Despite earning a substantial $100,000 per episode during the peak of his career, much of his wealth was taken by his parents and advisors. In 1989, he took legal action against them for embezzling his $3.8 million trust fund and eventually won $1.28 million in 1993. However, this victory was overshadowed by the fact that escalating medical expenses and legal fees depleted his wealth. By 1999, Coleman had to file for bankruptcy as he struggled to find consistent work outside of acting. His later years were plagued by substance abuse, depression, and ongoing legal issues. He expressed regret about his early years in the industry, stating, "I would not give my first 15 years to my worst enemy." Coleman passed away in 2010 at the age of 42 with minimal assets. Brett Butler. Brett Butler, a prominent figure in the 90s sitcom Grace Under Fire, experienced a dramatic downturn in her life due to substance abuse and poor decisions. After achieving stardom and earning as much as $250,000 per episode, her Vicodin addiction led to unpredictable behavior, culminating in her dismissal from the show in 1998. Reflecting on her final days on set, she admitted, "At the bloody bitter end, I really was difficult. I was out of my mind." In subsequent years, Butler encountered numerous financial blunders. Misplacing trust in the wrong individuals, she lost a significant portion of her $25 million fortune to theft and imprudent spending. She confessed, "I was a little bit too trusting with some people that worked for me," revealing her gullibility. By 2011, she disclosed residing in homeless shelters in Georgia, and by 2020, she faced eviction from her Los Angeles apartment due to unpaid rent. Acknowledging her dire situation, she said, "I might have waited too long to do this, but I'm so screwed right now," as she sought assistance through a GoFundMe campaign. Butler's story highlights the ruinous effects of addiction, impacting not only careers but also personal lives. Despite her adversities, she persists in pursuing recovery and rebuilding her life, serving as a reminder of the precariousness of fame and wealth. Danny Bonaduce. Danny Bonaduce, a well-known child actor from the Partridge Family, experienced a distressing descent into hardship that included periods of homelessness and financial strife. Following the conclusion of the show, the burdens of fame severely impacted him. In the 1990s, his life descended into turmoil due to legal issues related to drug possession, assault, and robbery. These problems cost him his radio career and led to financial devastation. Bonaduce reminisced about his dire financial situation in the early 1980s, saying, "I was so broke that I lived out of my car near a dumpster. I would pose for pictures with fans during the day and sleep in my car at night." Despite his public recognition, few were aware of his desperate situation as he stood by his car near Hollywood landmarks, signing autographs while concealing his struggles. His existence behind dumpsters in his vehicle became a harsh reality until he sought assistance and started to rebuild his life. His journey through substance abuse and homelessness is one of redemption. He eventually overcame these adversities and now co-hosts a morning radio show in Seattle. Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid, acclaimed for his roles in over 90 films, including the iconic Cousin Eddie in the National Lampoon's Vacation series, saw his life take a chaotic turn characterized by legal issues and financial collapse. By the late 2000s, his existence was marred by a string of peculiar events that contributed to his decline. In 2009, Quaid and his wife Evie were apprehended for defaulting on a $10,000 hotel bill, which was just the beginning of more serious legal troubles. They faced various charges, such as fraud and burglary, leading to their escape to Canada in 2010. There they sought refuge, alleging they were being targeted by a conspiracy they called Star Whackers, a supposed covert group they believed was persecuting Hollywood celebrities. Hollywood is murdering its movie stars, Evie proclaimed during an interview, highlighting their sense of persecution and despair. However, their bid for asylum was unsuccessful, and they were sent back to the US following a series of arrests. After settling in Vermont, the couple continued to face ongoing legal battles. Despite their efforts to avoid accountability, the emotional strain was apparent, as Quaid expressed his desire for solitude. "I just want to be left alone." Natasha Lyonne. Natasha Lyonne, recognized for her roles in American Pie and Slums of Beverly Hills, experienced a distressing plunge into homelessness. In the early 2000s, her life careened out of control due to substance abuse and legal issues. A DUI in 2001 and subsequent arrests for harassment initiated her downfall, culminating in her eviction from her Gramercy Park residence. Battling a severe heroin addiction, Lyonne ended up living on the streets. The emotional impact was overwhelming. She later admitted, "I was definitely as good as dead." Her condition deteriorated further when she was admitted to the hospital for hepatitis C and a collapsed lung, a stark indication of the repercussions of her lifestyle choices. However, in the midst of hopelessness, Lyonne sought assistance. Joining rehab in 2006 marked a pivotal moment. She diligently worked to reclaim her life. "People really rallied around me and pulled me up by my fucking bootstraps," she remarked, recognizing the support that facilitated her recovery. Rejuvenating her career, Lyonne starred in series like Orange is the New Black and Poker Face, demonstrating her resilience. Presently, she stands as an example of recovery, illustrating that even after reaching rock bottom, it is feasible to reconstruct both personal life and career. On a scale of 0-5, how impressive is Natasha Lyonne's comeback from addiction and personal struggles? Comment with a number. Bobby Driscoll. Bobby Driscoll, a celebrated Disney child star known for his roles in films such as Song of the South and Peter Pan, experienced a tragic descent into obscurity after achieving early fame. At the age of 12, he received a Juvenile Academy Award and was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. However, as he entered his teenage years, his career took a nosedive. Severe acne made him unrecognizable to casting directors, resulting in his release from Disney. "I was dropped like garbage when I was no longer a cute little kid," he expressed, reflecting on the harsh reality of his situation. As rejections mounted, Driscoll turned to drugs, finding comfort in heroin and resorting to petty crimes. His life further disintegrated with multiple arrests, including one for assault. After a period in rehab, he tried to revive his acting career but found himself shut out. Moving to New York in pursuit of new opportunities only intensified his desolation. He became part of the underground art scene, but remained unnoticed. In a tragic turn of events, at 31, Driscoll's life concluded in an abandoned building, with his body found by children playing nearby. He died from heart failure, a consequence of his own choices and the unforgiving industry that once revered him. Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye, the legendary soul singer recognized for his mellifluous voice and poignant lyrics, encountered a distressing downturn that sharply contrasted with his initial achievements. Once the pride of Motown, Gaye's existence descended into turmoil due to personal and financial difficulties. By the late 1970s, he was dealing with $9.2 million in debt, including $4.5 million owed to the IRS, worsened by failed marriages and a debilitating cocaine addiction. "Natural fact is, I can't pay my taxes. Make me want to holler and throw up on my hands," he expressed, mirroring his desolation. In an effort to evade his escalating issues, Gaye took refuge in Europe, living in self-imposed exile as he fought depression and addiction. Despite these adversities, he made an extraordinary comeback in 1984 with Sexual Healing, which rekindled his career and demonstrated his lasting talent. However, disaster struck just months later when Gaye was fatally shot by his father during a domestic altercation, ending his life at 44. Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter, who entered the music scene at the age of 9 with his self-titled debut album, quickly became a beloved teen pop sensation, selling over 1 million copies. However, his early success was not indicative of a smooth journey ahead. By his mid-20s, Carter's life was in a downward spiral due to substance abuse, family disputes, and financial troubles. His struggles with addiction were well documented, and he candidly admitted to inhaling and misusing prescription drugs. "I was huffing because I'm a drug addict," he revealed during an emotional segment on The Doctors. The burden of fame also led to financial mismanagement, resulting in bankruptcy in 2013, with debts surpassing $3.5 million, primarily due to unpaid taxes from his peak years. As his career declined, Carter turned to controversial methods to support himself, including selling explicit content online. Despite attempts at rehab and open conversations about his mental health, he suffered from anxiety and depression. His efforts were often eclipsed by unpredictable behavior and public scrutiny. In a tragic turn of events, Aaron Carter's life came to an end at 34 when he drowned in his bathtub in November 2022. John Drew Barrymore. John Drew Barrymore was born into a family with a rich Hollywood history, but he found it challenging to step out of their shadow. Although he had a promising start in films such as The Sundowners and High Lonesome, his career was overshadowed by personal issues. John struggled with alcoholism, which resulted in numerous legal issues and a string of unpredictable decisions that eventually sidetracked his acting career. As his public image deteriorated, he became more withdrawn, stepping away from the limelight and living a secluded life. The burden of fame was significant for him, as he once expressed, "I know certain actors are totally screwed up on drugs. Why wasn't I excused for exhaustion or the flu?" This statement reflects the challenges faced by many who come from celebrity families, where high expectations can stifle individual growth. In his later years, John's health declined and he reconciled with his daughter Drew Barrymore, who assisted with his medical expenses during his fight against cancer. He passed away in 2004, serving as a poignant reminder of the importance of family support and the tragic outcomes that can result from ongoing personal struggles. Willie Ames. Willie Ames, a prominent teen idol in the late 1970s on the sitcom 8 is Enough, experienced a significant downturn in his life. Following the show's conclusion in 1981, Ames grappled with substance abuse and legal troubles that led to financial devastation. He vividly described his situation, saying, "I went from eating at the White House to sleeping in the bushes," underscoring the dramatic shift from his previous lifestyle to homelessness. In his most challenging moments, Ames resorted to sleeping in parking garages and public spaces, contending with the emotional burden of his decisions. The public's response varied. While some fans showed concern, others were critical. However, amidst this chaos, Ames found comfort in religion, marking a significant turning point in his life. With faith as his anchor, he received support and eventually landed a job on a cruise ship, enabling him to reconstruct his life. This path of redemption paved the way for his return to acting, featuring in various projects, including Hallmark Channel films. Ames now serves as a powerful example of transformation and the possibility of second chances, demonstrating that recovery is achievable with appropriate support systems. Reflecting on his past, he stresses the significance of growth and change, offering inspiration to others who might encounter similar challenges. Like this video? Great. Subscribe for more. Hate it? Well, a like would be nice anyway, and let me know what went wrong in the comments. Lonnie O'Grady. Lonnie O'Grady, recognized for her role as Mary Bradford on the popular series 8 is Enough, underwent a distressing journey that culminated in homelessness and despair. Despite her early achievements, the strains of fame severely impacted her mental health. Battling panic attacks from a young age, she sought relief through prescription pills, which led to a ruinous addiction that persisted throughout her life. After retiring from acting in the 1980s, O'Grady endeavored to re-establish herself as a talent manager, but her personal issues persisted. In an attempt to recover, she admitted herself to a mental health facility for detoxification in 1998. Tragically, during her stay, she alleged sexual assault by a staff member, a distressing event that led her to initiate legal action against the hospital. This additional legal conflict only intensified her stress and financial strain. As O'Grady's battles intensified, she ended up living in a mobile home, cut off from society. friends and family observed helplessly as she succumbed to addiction. At the age of 46, Lani was discovered dead from an apparent drug overdose, offering a haunting reminder of the unspoken struggles faced by child actors. "I feel like I have to keep up this idea of who I am," she once reflected, summarizing the pressure that ultimately overwhelmed her. Amanda Peterson. Amanda Peterson, a bright teen star recognized for her role in the 1987 film Can't Buy Me Love, experienced a tragic decline after departing Hollywood in 1994. Upon returning to Greeley, Colorado, she encountered a downward trajectory characterized by personal struggles and legal issues. Over time, Peterson grappled with substance abuse, resulting in several arrests for DUI and drug possession. Her mother, Sylvia, remembered the distressing change. She was in bed, and she'd had a wonderful day. It was just a very, very big surprise when Amanda was discovered deceased in her apartment in 2015 from a morphine overdose at the age of 43. The once radiant smile that had illuminated the screen dimmed under the strain of addiction and unwise decisions, making her almost unrecognizable in mugshots from her various arrests. Friends and family observed how the pressures of early fame had inflicted deep wounds. Patrick Dempsey, her co-star, mourned her passing on social media, stating she would remain vibrant and young in his memory. Dana Plato. Dana Plato, recognized for her portrayal of Kimberly Drummond on the classic sitcom Different Strokes, had a rapid ascent to fame that swiftly devolved into a sorrowful narrative of substance abuse and desolation. The demands of early celebrity severely impacted her mental health, propelling her toward drug dependency as a teenager. "I was just a kid who wanted to be loved," she later expressed, underscoring the emotional chasm that even fame could not bridge. Following her pregnancy at 19, Dana's character was removed from the show, signaling the start of her financial and personal downturn. Unable to secure significant employment, she turned to B-movies and adult films in an attempt to reignite her career. However, these ventures did not succeed. Her financial predicament worsened when her accountant misappropriated her savings, leaving her financially devastated. In a moment of desperation, Dana carried out a robbery at a Las Vegas video store in 1991, using a pellet gun and stealing only $164. This incident resulted in probation and additional legal issues, including an arrest for prescription forgery. Despite efforts at recovery, she continued to grapple with addiction. In a tragic conclusion, Dana was discovered lifeless from a drug overdose at the age of 34. Her story stands as a somber warning about the perilous aspects of child stardom and the critical necessity for mental health assistance within the entertainment industry. Jan Michael Vincent. Jan Michael Vincent, who rose to fame in the 1980s as the dashing pilot Stringfellow Hawk in Airwolf and commanded a staggering $200,000 per episode, led a life fraught with turmoil beneath the Hollywood limelight. "I had a problem with drugs and alcohol," Vincent openly admitted, recognizing the personal struggles that plagued him. As his career reached its zenith, his substance abuse escalated, resulting in numerous arrests and legal issues. Vincent's health further declined following severe car accidents, which led to the tragic amputation of his leg due to infection complications. These events not only diminished his physical capabilities, but also his professional standing. Once a leading actor, he found himself cast in low-budget films and pushed into obscurity. In his later years, Vincent encountered escalating financial difficulties, including unpaid taxes that cast a shadow over him. His tragic fall was highlighted by his death in 2019 from cardiac arrest at 73, leaving behind a legacy marred by addiction and regrettable decisions. Vincent's narrative is a stark reminder of the transient nature of fame and the ruinous impact of addiction. As he once reflected, "You can't take it with you," underscoring the significance of seeking assistance before it's too late. Lisa Robin Kelly. Lisa Robin Kelly, recognized for her portrayal of Laurie Foreman on That 70s Show, experienced a tragic decline characterized by substance abuse and legal issues. Once a promising talent, her life took a drastic turn after the show's initial seasons. As her drug dependency became evident, her character was ultimately removed from the series. In 2012, Kelly faced multiple arrests for DUI, assault and domestic violence, each incident underscoring her worsening condition. Her difficulties were further exacerbated by the loss of a child, which increased her dependence on alcohol. "I was in a dark place," she later admitted when discussing her struggles with addiction. In 2013, Kelly sought assistance and voluntarily entered a rehabilitation facility, offering a faint hope for recovery. Her agent remarked, "Lisa had voluntarily checked herself into a treatment facility. She was hopeful and confident. Tragically, only days later, she died from multiple drug intoxication at 43. Todd Bridges. Todd Bridges, recognized for his portrayal of Willis Jackson on the classic sitcom Different Strokes, encountered a distressing descent after the show concluded in 1986. Once an adored child actor, Bridges found it difficult to transition into adult roles burdened by the trauma of childhood abuse and the stress of fame. In his own words, he reflected, "When the show got cancelled is when my whole life fell apart because everything caught up with me." As he confronted these struggles, Todd resorted to drugs, finding temporary relief in crack cocaine and methamphetamine. His addiction escalated, prompting him to engage in desperate actions to fund his habit. "I had no shoes on, no shirt on, no money in my pocket," he remembered of his most challenging times. Legal issues soon emerged. He faced severe accusations, including attempted murder, after a drug-induced incident where he fired at a dealer. Although he was acquitted after being incarcerated for 9 months, the damage had been done. Eventually, Todd enrolled in a rehabilitation program in 1992 and dedicated himself to recovery. Now sober for over 3 decades, he has reconstructed his life and uses his narrative as a source of inspiration for others fighting addiction. "I threw Hollywood away," he admits, but now he cherishes his second chance, motivating many with his tale of redemption and resilience. Mindy McCready. Mindy McCready's ascent to stardom in the 1990s was rapid, with songs like "Guys Do It All the Time" propelling her into the country music limelight. However, her success masked a life fraught with turmoil, marked by addiction and emotional distress. As her career declined, McCready encountered a string of shattering personal trials. She grappled with substance abuse, resulting in several arrests and a distressing custody battle that led to the removal of her children. Her attempts to seek help were publicized when she joined celebrity rehab, but she found herself caught in the cycle of addiction. The tragic passing of her partner, David Wilson, in January 2013, deeply affected her. "He was my soulmate," she expressed, highlighting the immense emotional impact of his loss. Tragically, on February 17, 2013, McCready ended her life on the same porch where Wilson had died, a poignant reflection of her despair. At 37 years old, her death highlighted the critical need for empathy and understanding towards mental health and addiction. As Dr. Drew Pinsky remarked, "Mental health issues can be life-threatening and need to be treated with the same intensity as any other dangerous medical condition." Jennifer Lien. Jennifer Lien, recognized for her portrayal of Kes on Star Trek Voyager, encountered a stark contrast between her early fame and the subsequent emotional and financial decline. Following her exit from the series in its 4th season, Lien grappled with a scarcity of acting opportunities, which led to a cascade of personal and legal issues. "I think the reason people don't talk to you about it is they don't know what to say," noted executive producer Jerry Taylor, emphasizing the enigma surrounding Lien's challenges. As her career waned, Lien faced several arrests for domestic violence and traffic violations. These events were further complicated by court-ordered mental health treatments, indicating an underlying turmoil that had started during her tenure on the show. The pressures of fame and the sudden conclusion of her character's arc took a significant toll on her mental well-being. The public's response was varied. While some fans showed compassion, others were critical. Lien's life became a cautionary example about the vulnerability of mental health and the significance of support systems within the entertainment industry. Despite her struggles, she sought refuge in rural Tennessee, striving to rebuild her life beyond the public eye. As we reflect on the poignant stories of these stars, their journeys remind us of the transient nature of fame and the importance of resilience. They highlight the need for support systems and mental health awareness, especially in high-pressure environments like Hollywood. It's a call to action for all of us to be more compassionate and understanding towards those who might be struggling. So, do these stories resonate with you? Do you feel a sense of loss or sadness for these individuals? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you've been moved by these narratives, give this video a like, subscribe to iconicinside, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more compelling stories that inspire discussion and reflection. Let's keep the conversation going.